Hi folks, and welcome to my video explaining masks. Now, masks are a really versatile tool in Photoshop. They're a way of non-destructive working, which means you don't ruin any pixels on your layer. You can go back in and change them, adapt them, and they're so important when you're coming to do multiple layered images, composites, or a photo where you're bringing in multiple elements. If we look at the screen, we've got blue writing on a white background, or have we? Actually, we've got a white layer on top of a blue background. Now the white layer has a mask attached. Now if I hold Alt and click into the mask, we can see that the text is black. Masks work in grayscale. Black completely cuts through the layer that it's attached to, and we see the layer underneath, and that's why we can see the blue. White completely shows the layer that it's attached to, and we can't see the layers underneath. The greys in between change the opacity of the layer that it's attached to. So I'll show you what I mean. If we go back to this, I'm just going to turn off the visibility, put in a new layer, and because I want to fill this layer with white, I can press Control Backspace, which fills the layer with the background colour. I'm then going to work with a brush, choose black for now, keep the opacity at 100%, and I'm just going to click and I need to attach the mask. There we go. We've attached the mask. Now, with those white corners selected, I know that I'm working in the mask. So now I can click once on the brush, and there we go. We see the blue background underneath. Now, because this visibility is off, we're not seeing that layer, but if I turn that on, we can see the layer there. Right? So, with a solid black, we can cut through 100% and we see the layer underneath. Now if I change the opacity to say 65 or 70%, something like that, and click, we are not seeing as much as the background. It's looking paler, but that's because it's on white. If I change that down again to about, 30%, click again, we are seeing even less of the background. Now if I hold Alt again and click in the mask, you can see that we've got black and then variations of grey. And that's it, it's that simple. But even though it's quite an easy thing to apply in Photoshop, there are so many different variations and applications for a mask. You've just got to remember that if you're using a white mask, black cuts through the layer and sees the layers underneath, and white just shows the layer that it's attached to. And you can go off and do loads of different things with that. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different applications, a few different starting points, but then it's really down to you to have a play around with masks and experiment with what they can do, and there'll be loads of other videos that use masks as the main technique. But yeah, I'm going to show you a few more examples and then down to you. Here's one example where you can use masks. Now I want to replace the view from the window. Okay, so for this I need a second image, so I'm going to use this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace this view with this. Alright, so we're going to use masks to do that. Now to do that, we need to unlock the background layer and put the background layer on top of that image. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use the masks to cut through that layer. Now, if I make a selection of this window and then apply a mask, it's only going to grab that little bit of the window. So first things first is we'll click on the mask symbol there, and it will attach a white mask. Now I can use my polygonal lasso tool and just click around and grab the inside of the window. Let's get this chair leg. So I'm just doing this very roughly. You can be more precise when you do yours, but there we go. There's the selection. Now I've got two options here. I can press Control or Command I, and it will instantly disappear because with that mask selected, it's inverted the mask, so it's turned white to black. Or if I press Control or Command Z, go back, I can use a brush. Let's choose a fuzzy brush, and I can paint in black, and it will do the exact same thing. So if you're just going to take the whole block, it's just a lot easier to press Command I. Alright, but you can use the brush as well. So I'll just do the other side. There we go. And once that's selected, again, as long as the mask is selected, we press Command or Control I, or we can brush it in. Control D, Command D to deselect. And there we are, we've changed the view, and then we can change the layer underneath. We can make it a little bit smaller, although there we go. We can place it around to wherever we want. We can do adjustments. But what we're really doing is we're using that mask to look through the window. And that's one of the things when you come to do composites, it's just layering up what is visible, what isn't. So that's one way. I've got one more example to show you, and then it's down to you. Right, so in the last one with the windows, we attached the mask to the background layer, which allowed us to cut through it. This approach is slightly different. What I'm going to do in this image is I'm going to add in some stormier clouds. Okay, so I'm not actually going to be cutting through the background layer. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to put this stormier cloud shot on top, and we're going to use masks to kind of blur the edge and fade them in. So to do this, we attach the mask to the top layer again. And we can, if we want, leave it on white, but on this one, what we'll do, we'll press Control or Command I, and we'll turn the mask black. Now, with that mask selected, if I paint with a black brush, it's not going to do anything because it's a black mask. So we need to swap that round to white, and what we can actually do now, instead of painting things out, we paint them in. So using a white feathered brush, just go onto my mask, and I can start painting on top of the layer. Now, the advantage to this is you've got a little bit more control. You can see the layer underneath, so you can see where you're going, but it's just a different way. This approach comes into when you're doing things like dodging and burning, or you might use this approach in different settings, but it's just a different way. So you can actually paint in, you don't just have to block out, if you know what I mean. And you can change the opacity of your brush, kind of fade those in a bit better, bring in some more detail into that sky where it was a bit blank before. There we go. Oh, caught a bit there, so just swap the brush back to black and paint that out, and there we go. Replacing the sky, relatively easy. There's thousands of things you can do with masks, that's just a couple of them. I'll be doing loads of videos that have masks in probably every single one. But there you go. Get creative. Alright. Cheers, guys. Bye. Thanks for watching my video. And if you found it helpful, don't forget to press the like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.